There's a moment in your bones when the fire takes over. Blood is running, heart is pumping as the battle gets closer. They can say what they want now, 'cause we'll be screaming now. We can be heroes everywhere we go. We can have all that we ever want. Singing like Ali, rocking our bodies, standing on top like a champion. Keep your silver, give me that gold. You'll remember when I say we can be heroes everywhere we go. Keeping us down is impossible. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable.
제가 팀의 믿음을 얻을 수 있는 이유는 연습에서 제가 오더를 내리면서 팀에게 제 오더를 믿음을 줄 수 있게끔 플레이를 해서 그렇게 저에게 믿음을 얻을 수 있었던 것 같아요. 제가 다른 나라를 2번이나 갔다 와봤는데 여기가 3번째인데 필리핀 음식이 진짜 한국 못지않게 맛있고 필리핀은 진짜 좋은 것 같아요. 저희 팀이 MSI 갈지 안 갈지는 잘 모르겠는데 저희 팀을 응원하실 사람이 있을진 모르겠지만 저희 팀을 응원하는 사람이 있다면 응원하는 걸 노력하는 걸 봐주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
Good evening, Summoners, and welcome back to the 2018 Backers Pro Gaming Series Spring Split. My name is Vulcan. With me is Chisto, your shotcasters entering match 2. I would say one of the highlight of the match for today.
Yeah, I definitely think this is one of the most awaited matches as far as I know, because it is MSK versus Naga Esports. Pero let's go ahead and recap what happened in the first match of today. It was AEX winning a hard-fought 2-1 over Infused Esports. So I think AEX are very happy about that win. It will push them up a bit in the standings. But let's go ahead and focus on this current matchup. Like you mentioned, one of the most hyped matches for the PGS, and both teams have looked good as of recent, especially after their performances in the previous week. Of course, we have to mention Naga surprisingly 2-0ing IPT and MSK claiming the top spot in the standings.
When they 2-0 TNC.
Yes.
So when you check out the standings here, guys, you can see right now, number 1, MSK. If they get another 2-0 here, it's safe to say that they are further solidifying their spot as number 1 rank, because 3 points if you get a 2-0. But for Naga, they're sitting at the 5th rank. If they do want to keep, or let's say be in the safe zone, well, at this point no one is really safe, because it's not yet over till it's over. But every game counts, every match you have to take seriously.
Yeah, I think after last week, it's safe to say that MSK is, no argument involved, the best team in the Pro Gaming Series at the moment. And the standings just go to show you that they are on the top. That means they are the best. And Naga, I think, might be one of those teams actually that can possibly upset them.
Who knows? We'll see that once we actually see it all on the Rift. But as you said, when it comes to Naga Esports, great performance. I gotta congratulate them for 2-0ing IPT, which was actually one of the reasons that they were able to bounce back. This is why I love about the new format. Competitive level increases, and getting a 2-0 right off the bat, 3 points, immediately boosts their ranks up. And if they further want to soar up to the rankings, Naga Esports, they have a lot to work with when facing MSK.
Yeah, one thing that Naga has to take note of when facing off against MSK is MSK's absolutely amazing early game. And this is one of the reasons why they are the best team in the PGS and why they were able to overcome TNC. The way that MSK plays their early game is very aggressive, especially in the bot lane with PG and Gary. If Naga isn't able to overcome the early game aggression of MSK, I think they're just going to be left in the dust. But if Naga does get a lead in the early phases, I think their mid game is one of the best in the PGS. And if they're able to, like I mentioned, overcome the early game that MSK has, I think they have a good chance of possibly taking a game here.
When it comes to chances, yes, I somehow agree with you on that when it comes to MSK, especially TG in the bot lane. aggressive. I think when it comes to being the aggressive bot lane, TG and Gary has been showing those performances. And from the picks, we can already assume that in a way, TG almost guarantees that the bot lane will not lose. Is that correct?
Yeah, I
In
think
a way.
PG tends to play towards the more aggressive support, such as the Leona, the Alistar. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Mineski default to those picks so that they can ensure that they have that option to play aggressively in the bot lane and really try to get ahead.
When it comes to the top lane, though, for Kaigo, he's been playing the split pushing champions, especially the Gangplank, which is considered very, really contested pick, a very high pick. And we've been seeing Kaigo playing very flexible champions. We do see it a lot when it comes to the previous weeks. But one thing I really want to see is how can Naga Esports really compete with those type of players.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say that Mineski has better players than Naga. So it's a tough task for Naga Esports at the moment if they want to try and take a game or two, like I said. So I think the biggest key for Naga here is to survive the early game onslaught that Mineski can basically throw at them.
When it comes to Onslaught, I don't think for Mineski they're gonna stop just there. They will just immediately. Remember that game we saw with Mineski versus TNC? That's a short recap of what happened. It was Mineski, as you said, the early game was theirs, and what did they do with that lead? Immediately ended the game in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, but if you're Naga right now, Naga's also a team that can play very well with leads, like you mentioned. It's not just Mineski that can play with an early game lead. If Naga gets ahead, their mid game is very, very solid, where I don't see them making that many mistakes, and they can play towards objectives very efficiently.
And if you guys have been active on social media, Garena Pro Gaming Series actually posted a poll, if I recall correctly. It was whether who are you rooting for? Is it Mineski or is it Naga? And the votes, I think the polls just ended, and the votes were in majority on Mineski's side.
I mean, Mineski has a massive fan base. Let's just put that out there. That probably more people know about Mineski compared to Naga, but still, I think the favorites for this matchup are definitely Mineski.
And for Naga Esports, they'll be entering this match as the underdogs, and I really hope to see a great game from both teams, because the fact that Mineski, when they brought in 2 imports, it's a treat for everyone here in the Philippines, for especially the players, because they can test out their skills.
Yeah, there are a lot of pros and cons when you bring in imports, but for me, I agree with that. It's a good thing for Philippine esports in general, because bringing in that international talent means that the level of competition will just move higher. It means that everyone else has to adapt and really adjust to compete with these arguably better players. So I think it's very healthy that Mineski did bring in these imports so that everyone else will have to raise their level of competition.
So I mean, we've been talking about the players, but let's get to know them in our matchup rundown, because for Mineski versus Naga Esports, I think we'll be seeing the same roster, but who knows, we might see Hamas again subbing in, because remember Hamas' performance in last week's with his mid lane, the Vanguard, which immediately shut down Demon's Tristana.
Yeah, I think last week's performance from Hamas and his Veigar was very on point. Like you mentioned, the stuns just... The Veigar stun is hard to land, let's face it, and he was super on point during their game, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Mineski jump on that champion again if they get a proper matchup.
And it's not just the Vanguard. Note that the Vanguard was the one roaming around, and Hamas was really proactive, really contributing into the sidelines, especially when he played Talia.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe Naga have some things planned for this, because we know for a fact that Naga has probably one of the best preparations when it comes to facing these opponents. Their pick and ban is very, very good in a sense, where I think they probably have the best game plans coming into each match every week.
And when it comes to, I would say, for the matchup here, what can Naga Esports try to do when it comes to facing against Mineski, which is considered the best team in the PGS?
I think for Naga, it's all about surviving bot lane. Because most of the games that Mineski have won, it was around their bot lane just getting these massive leads because of the aggression that they show. And if Neep and Luxmira are able to survive the laning phase versus Gary and TG, I think that will be one of the key things that Naga has to pull off here.
And here's the matchup rundown for our teams.
Yeah, so it looks like it's actually Hamas playing mid again. It's no EXO for this match for Mineski. I think bringing in Hamas, subbing in the mid has been working out well for them. And I think they're sticking to what has been working for them.
And I just love I just love seeing James now playing in the mid lane because the fact that they're Mineski, they are experimenting new things. They want to evolve the team, make it better. They don't stop at, let's say, our performance last year. They always want to make this team better. And the fact that they're pioneering the imports, they're bringing in newer imports, it's just a sign that Mineski, the team itself, they're really taking this seriously and they really are aiming for the higher up.
Yeah, but speaking of getting better, Naga Esports throughout the weeks of PGS have been constantly getting better. I think through each week they've constantly improved, found ways to make up for their mistakes in the previous week and just become better and better as the weeks go by.
And when it comes to, let's say, growth, do you think Naga Esports, they're ready to face against the best team in the PGS?
Oh, they should be ready at this point, Volkan. It's already 6 weeks into the PGS. If at this point you still aren't ready to face off against the best team, why are you even here? Now, we're gonna head straight into pick and ban.
So let's get straight to it. This is going to be Game 1, Match 2, Mineski on the blue side versus Naga Esports on the red side.
Okay, so Mineski have locked in the Camille here, and normally now would see Camille in the jungle. Let's see how can Naga Esports respond. Looks like they're gonna go with a safe bot lane pick here, the Ezreal for Luxuria.
And seeing how we're seeing this Camille jungle, which is actually popular as of now, and it's popular, yes, but not many can pull it off.
Yeah, but if somebody was gonna be able to pull it. Okay, so screw Camille jungle. It's actually gonna be Zach playing the jungle here. So looks like Camille in the top lane for Mineski.
That is correct. That will not be a Camille jungle, but a Zac jungle. And for Mineski, they'll finalize their pick out with the Varus.
Yeah, now Naga Esports need to pick a top lane here. And Fiora, okay, we haven't seen Iconic on a carry champion recently. He's mostly played tanks throughout the PGS.
Except for the Vladimir.
And the Gnar, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, but for the most part, Iconic has been playing more of these tanky champions. So I'm very interested to see how he's gonna play this matchup versus Kaigo, probably one of the best top laners in the PGS. But Fiora is one of those picks that can deal with the Camille in the 1v1.
And we're seeing one of the favorite picks of Naga Esports, the Sejuani. Despite the nerfs, there is still that pressure and the powerful engage with the Arctic Assault and the Glacial Prison. So let's get straight to Mineski's side. TG will be using, a Thresh.
Yeah, I actually like the pickup of Taric from Naga Esports here because if Mineski were able to jump on that Taric, it means that Jun and Kaigo would be more incentivized to dive using the Cosmic Ray, and so that's a bit of a denial pick for Naga, but Mineski sticking to what they're good at, playing aggressive bot lanes, and Thresh definitely has tools to play aggressively down their bot lane.
Break down the lineup for us. Chisto, what is Naga Esports trying to do here, and what is Mineski bringing into the table?
It looks like Naga Esports want to split push here with Iconic. I think they need to get this Fiora ahead so that Mineski can't 1v1 her. Fiora, of course, the Grand Duel is very hard to 1v1 in lane. So if Iconic is able to get leads, I think that might also be one of the keys for Naga Esports if they want to come out here with a victory. As for Mineski, man, it looks like they want to dive onto the members of Naga Esports and not let that split push come to fruition.
And here are the player cards. Everyone, this is going to be Game 1 of Match 2. Who do you think is going to win? Who are you rooting for? Let us know on that live chat here, Facebook and YouTube. Hashtag Mineski win or hashtag any win. So when it comes to player cards, we're seeing, yes, Iconic on this Fiora. I think this is the first time we will be seeing his Fiora in the PGS. So Rebenga, he has the responsibility to enable Iconic to scale and then be that beast when it comes to split pushing.
Yeah, but Rebenga does have the tools for that. Rebenga's very comfortable on the Sejuani pick. We know how proficient he is when playing this jungler. Let's see, can he get Iconic that lead? Because Naga Esports, they tend to give a lot of resources up to Eco's lane. Just have to wait and see once the game starts.
Once we load it up. But I really love how for Mineski's side, they're still sticking towards this mid lane Corki for James. We've seen this Corki before, yes. And the fact that I just love how everywhere we see, there's always this experimental phase. Now they know it works. Now that the risk paid off, they will just cash in on that risk and just continue to use what worked for them.
Yeah, of course. I think this Corki for James is more of a comfort pick because I think Mineski tend to default onto the Corki when none of the other stronger mid lane options are available. He'll just have that wave clear and that poke, of course, that Corki provides. We'll see though. LeBlanc into Corki is a very tricky matchup. All you need to do really on Corki is just get a Hex Drinker so that Carl can't burst you down.
Or if James is feeling a bit risky, he can go for straight towards the Trinity Force. But if he does respect the LeBlanc, yes, he will be getting the Hex Drinker. But why I talk about it when we can see it all on the Rift. This is Game 1, Match 2, MSK versus Naga Esports.
Well, let's go. Let's start. This is Game 1 of Match 2. It is Naga Esports facing off against Mineski.
One of the best teams in the PGS. Let's see, can they face a trial? TNC has failed, but let's see how things will pan out here for NE.
Okay, it looks like it will be point defense for all these teams. No invades, just gonna watch out the entrances of their jungles. Gonna see if anybody wants to go for an invade, possibly lay down vision. But yeah, I don't think anyone would be interested to actually go in here.
Yes, that's true. And the keystones are right there for you guys to see. We are seeing a Kleptomancy on this Fiora. So yes, that will be a scaling top laner. But for Kaigo, he may go for aggressive pokes with that Camille, with the Arcane Comment. But what I want to see is how will Rebenga really intervene and help and give the resources to the top lane.
Well, if we look back at Naga and how they've played around the top side, I think it's very common for them to just constantly gank Eco's lane. He needs a lot of those resources, so I wouldn't be surprised if Rebenga visits top lane very, very early here.
But he's starting red, so he may choose a level 2 gank perhaps? Who knows?
Maybe, who knows?
Sejuani can do a level 2 gank.
Yeah, especially with the melee top laner. If they're able to stack up that Frostbite and maybe Kaigo didn't scale his hook shot, he can't get away unless he flashes. But like you mentioned, Rebenga is starting towards the top side of the map. So if he goes the standard route, he will end up towards the bot lane.
But as for June, he is starting on the opposite direction of the map, so he may opt to go for the top because maybe knowing how any plays, he can predict or try and mirror the movements of Rebenga.
James is going for an invade here. I think he did spot out Rebenga at his Raptors.
Oh, what's happening here? It's too far for us to see. But yes, James did invade the jungle.
Yeah, I think he stole a few Raptors from Rebenga. Looking at TCS, yeah, I think
oh wow,
he
did
was able
steal
to
a lot
steal
of Raptors.
a few Raptors and put a bit of damage down onto Rebenga. So Sejuani kind of low. Still fairly tanky jungler though.
Yeah, but it's the fact that he was able to deny some Raptors EXP, so he may not really go for the bot lane powerful gank when he is level 3. Maybe a bit slower.
Yeah, maybe a bit slower, especially we see Rebenga is running the Aftershock, so no fleet footwork means that the Sejuani will be clearing a bit slower and less healthier.
And so far in the top lane side, already being pushed in. Great job for Kaigo there, but it's the fact that he's making himself open for a gank. James going in for some trade. Ooh, more of an even trade we're seeing.
Yeah, a bit of an even trader. Good enough for James. He did point his Q towards the distortion so that it will land onto the LeBlanc. Rebenga is mid lane though.
Ooh, immediately sidesteps away, so that reveals his position.
Yeah, I think even if the Arctic Assault landed from Rebenga there, he would have gotten out still fine. He did
With
have his
Valkyrie.
flash, he did have Valkyrie up. So no trouble for James, just a bit of pressure in the mid lane. Pinapaalam lang ni Rebenga na nandun siya.
And now we're seeing on the map itself. Look at the map, guys. We're seeing June on the red side of NE. So maybe they might go for a dive, but it is very, very risky.
I think that's just smart pathing from Mineski's jungler because he knew that the Sejuani started towards the top side of the map. So generally he'd end up around the bottom side. And normally Sejuanis don't go for that Krugs clear this early. So he steals away one camp from Naga Esports jungle and now he's a bit ahead.
And for James, he's really respecting this LeBlanc on Carl. He did start with a Doran shield. And for when it comes to matchups, let's say when it comes to composition in total, I think for Mineski, they have a lot of hard engages.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot of ways to engage. But speaking of matchups, Vulcan, you mentioned this mid lane where Hamas is really respecting the LeBlanc coming from Calculate. He doesn't have to kill the LeBlanc in this matchup. All he needs to do is survive lane and then impact the side lanes
He is on
with the
fleet
package.
footwork.
Yeah, all he needs to do is survive this lane, and the Doran Shield will help him have more sustained, more defensive stats versus the LeBlanc. But, oh, the hook!
Well, the slant ignite already popped onto Luxury. He does shift away, heal and flash. Everything is spent, but the piercing arrow was a bit close, but will not give him the first blood.
Yeah, I think Luxuria, a bit of disrespect right there. He thought he could juke the hook coming from TG, but if he arcane shifted earlier, and the hook would have definitely missed, and I don't think he would have had to burn both his summoners.
This is classic TG. I mean, the aggressive support we're seeing right now on Mineski's bot lane almost guarantees a win.
Yeah, they are definitely playing to their strengths. They are playing very aggressive in this bot lane, but Ezreal Tarek is a very safe bot lane. Unless you bring in more members or unless you land a hook, there's really no way that you can go for an all-in, and Ezreal will just be safely farming with the Klepto, and Neep can always just heal up Luxuria with the Tarek.
And for the turret, that's going to be a huge asset for NE because we're seeing Mineski with all these powerful dive tools. And for Naga Esports, they have what? The Cosmic Radiance.
Yeah, and that's one of the tools that Naga can really use here to suppress the aggression that Mineski can do. Once Mineski go for an engage, they pop the Cosmic Radiance, they can kite back, reposition, probably go for a re-engage. But we're still a few minutes away from all those fights, Vulcan. We still have to get through this laning phase.
How is the laning phase looking at for Gista?
It's very passive, aside from bot lane, of course.
But look at the top lane CS. That's something to look for noteworthy. Because we're seeing a 48 to 26 CS, and this Fiora is running what? The Kleptomancy, right? And that's going to be another Valkyrie away by Hamas. He is really hard to pin down.
Yeah, it's definitely very hard to pin down, and since he's running the cleanse as well, it just makes it 2 times harder for Rebang to actually lock him down. But you mentioned the gap in CS in the top lane. I think it will even out a bit once Iconic is able to get the rest of this wave. But I do think part of the reason why Iconic is struggling to get these last hits is because Camille is just one of the strongest top laners at the moment. And since no jungle pressure has been moving towards the top side, Iconic is showing so much respect in the matchup. He isn't playing that aggressively.
And for Kaigo, he will go straight for the duelist build, going for that Sheen and Dagger. Will rush that reinforced, not a Tiamat.
You're trying, because he's already pushing in the Fiora. You don't need to push her in even faster. So why would I bother going for a Tiamat? Just pick up the Sheen, more burst damage. I can possibly kill this Fiora under tower if I get her low enough. So I like the adaptation coming from Mineski's top laner.
But know that the parry is really something that you have to watch out for. Can really just deny the ultimate from the Camille. So that's more on timing base. We're seeing a lot of tools involving timing. We're seeing the Cosmic Radiance, the Glacial Prison. A lot of things come into play here.
Yeah, of course, execution once you're in-game is very important, Vulcan. And seeing that these players are on mechanically challenging champions, we get to see the best players just execute on them. Yeah, but now this laning phase in the bot lane has played out very passively since after that initial trade, the Naga bot lane has been forced to play incredibly passively every time TG walks. Okay.
Oh, look at the timing. Really locking down Iconic. Burns that parry. This might be the first blood.
Outsmarted right there, Kaigo. You mentioned timing. Kaigo actually outplayed Iconic in the top lane.
We're seeing a lot of champions here. As you said, she's the mechanically challenging champions that require a lot of timing.
Yeah, and if you didn't know previously, one of the things you could do with Camille's hookshot is you can delay the second part of it a bit. You can stick to the wall just like Kaigo demonstrated right there and possibly bait out things such as the parry. So great knowledge by Kaigo, and they pick up a kill off of it. Great roam as well from Hamas to secure the kill.
With an assist there, I think the first blood going to Hamas will really help him control the mid lane, and he may opt for the Hex Drinker after the longsword, who knows, but he will be going for the Shin to at least match the burst coming from this LeBlanc.
Yeah, let's see how this goes, because normally if Carl was exerting more pressure, we'd normally see the Corki rush that Hex Drinker, right, so that he doesn't get bursted down, but yeah, he does pick up the Hex Drinker like we mentioned, so it's gonna be a bit harder or almost impossible actually for the LeBlanc to kill the Corki in the mid lane.
But at least for Carl, he can also safely farm away. He does have a slight advantage in CS, but the one thing that we are not seeing right now is, for us, is that what is happening to the fact that when we see the Naga games, we're seeing Rebenga really going to the top lane, enabling Eco. We're not seeing this in this game.
Yeah, that's actually one of the questions on my mind at the moment. Okay, actually, Vulcan, I think we're gonna see it here.
Here it comes, but Iconic flashes straight into the stun, but Calculated will be picking up the kill. A 3-man gang in the top lane.
Can we call that caster curse, Vulcan? Just as we mentioned that Rebenga hasn't been visiting the top lane, immediately we see two members actually from Naga relieve the pressure that Kaigu is exerting.
Oh, but what's this? Hamis is just observing the top lane. There was a ward, so
He has package, but who is he gonna gank?
he was gonna go for top, but he was spotted by a ward on the left side.
Oh, but he was gonna go top lane alone on the package?
Who knows?
Kaigu is dead.
He does have the sheet.
Probably, but yeah, great response by Naga, able to lock down the Camille. And actually, I think the reason why Iconic flashed up there in the top lane is to deny the second part of the hook shot from extending. So smart play right there. Timing is very important, like we mentioned. And now looking at how this mid lane has panned out, since Hamis now has his Hex Drinker, he can opt to play a bit more aggressively. He's just gonna constantly push in the LeBlanc here with no fear actually. Even if Rebenga goes for a gank mid lane, he does have the cleanse still to get away from the lockdown that Sejuani provides. So Corki is gonna have a great time in the mid lane.
I mean, he's already having a great time as of now. Look at his summoners all up. I don't think he even used the cleanse at all, really.
He doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to. He has the Valkyrie. He's really respecting the Sejuani's Glacial Prison, but he will immediately cleanse away from the bike, trying to get a kill on the car. But Rebenga is here with an Arctic Assault, and Hamis flashes straight into it, and also Calculated will flash away.
Okay, I mentioned he was having a good time. Medyo panira ng araw yun para kay Hamis. He tried to go aggressive, but the members of Naga Esports with proper response, even the True Shot Barrage coming in from the Ezreal just for that extra bit of damage and the assist as well to pick up the kill onto the Corki. But like we mentioned, look at how hard it was for Calculated to take down the Corki. He needed assistance from two of his teammates just to land all of his damage.
And he did have the Hex Stringer. He did pop the passive. I mean, the True Shot Barrage does deal magic damage. So yes, you did say that he does need help, and he gave him the assistance, and that gave him a kill.
Yeah, and I think if Naga want to come out on top, they need more of that.
Look at the map. We're seeing
Nice
right now that sentence play connects, but they're really deep in the turrets. They cannot commit to a dive, but looking at the top lane, that's going to be a recall, but we're still seeing Rebenga. Okay, he will exit the top lane.
I think Iconic knew that Jun was up in the top lane. I think he could tell just from the way that Kaigo was moving towards and really positioning towards the walls. In this top lane, normally we'd see Camille's position themselves near wall so that she can instantly hookshot someone. So smart play by Iconic, recognizing the way that Kaigo was walking in lane. Maybe I'm gonna get ganked. That's really what you need if you want to be a good top laner.
You need also predictions and also the fact that, yes, mechanics. I mean, Camille with the timing. Kaigo, he has the mechanics. We did see that outplay Kanina for the first blood. But what's this? Need going forward.
That's
Goes
aggressive.
in. That's very aggressive. And a flash out from TG. Look at that. Already responding in.
Okay, a trade of flashes right there. And the chain of corruption as well burned just for the disengage. But, ooh.
Here it comes. Let's bounce onto two members there. But still, Gary committing to this fight. Radiance will come into play. There is the Radiance. And Mineski immediately backs off.
Yeah, I think Mineski were lucky there that they were able to disengage that. Naga played super aggressive. We thought that Mineski's bot lane was the aggressors. Actually, no, it's Naga Neep on the start, flashing forward, trying to go for that trade, but wisely enough, Mineski immediately disengaged. I think they recognized that Calculated had roamed away from the mid lane, so if they tried to re-engage there, they would have been in a numbers disadvantage. So wisely enough, they back off.
And with that flash in the bot lane, look at that. We're seeing NE going for the Ocean Drake.
And we credited Mineski for their early game.
Oh, Hichi going in with the Dark Passage, and Rebenga. Gary tries to get away. Woody Assault, the prison will not connect. Look at that. Hamas really focused underneath. Takes him down.
Can they get more though? I don't think so. I think Nagar out here.
They can go for the first turret here because we're seeing that the wave in the bot lane is being pushed in. We're seeing Calculated responding in. And June sees this. Calculated goes in onto Hamas. Hamas is very low. No mana whatsoever. But he gets the shield from the ladder. There's the save from DG.
Whoa.
But the Permafrost will connect. Will help Luxuria land that true shot barrage.
Yeah, I don't think that was a save right there, Vulcan. It was actually a lantern to the death, but Mineski were still able to take the first turret of the game. So now, like we mentioned, Mineski tends to play around the aggression that their bot lane provides. I like that even though Naga picked up the first Drake, Mineski still went for the engage on that because they knew that Cosmic Radiance was down. And without that ultimate, there's really no way that Naga can reposition after the Ocean Drake take. So smartly enough, they were able to pick up one kill. Great response by Mineski.
A 3-for-3 kill score right now. Gold lead in favor of Mineski. Just 2,000. But it's the fact that they got the first turret. But NE got the first Drake, which is the Ocean. Next Drake is Infernal.
And we all know how much people love the Infernal Drake. So we really wouldn't be surprised to see both these teams contest that objective.
Definitely. It's the Infernal. You want that. We're seeing the composition on both teams right now. Everyone will benefit from it.
Yeah, given the pace of the game though, Vulcan, it's already 15 minutes in and it looks like Naga hasn't crumbled under the early game aggression of Mineski. They've been countering them and matching them very, very well here. So this is definitely a great sign moving forward.
Let's see. Will it be enough for them to try and close in this game? We're seeing those deep wards really being spotted out here. Hamas will pick up the blue. But the question is, let's say we go to the mid to late game. We're seeing the composition here. It's going to be very tricky for NE to actually go in because Mineski will be the aggressors. Oh, what's that? That's going to be a pop. He misses the shot and Rebenga for the save.
Yeah, you're not going to get away from that. Even with the cleanse, enough damage from Karkid. He has hit his power spike with the Hextech Gunblade, so he had enough damage to pick up that kill onto the Corki. But once he died and was able to shop, he now has his Trinity Force, so that means for the next fight, the members of Mineski will be dealing absurd amounts of damage.
Ooh, look at that, the box has been placed down. Neeb is inside the zone, forced to use the Cosmic Radiance.
Oh, it went down just in time. Kulang pa yung damage na meron yung Mineski to burst down the turret before the ultimate landed on top of him, but that is still a big cooldown burn for them. Now a minute or two to play around where they can just go for these aggressive moves.
I just want to point out for June and Rebenga CS, they're very identical. And not just that, the KG, but looking at the...
Oh, I like this.
Ooh, look at the aggression coming from Iconic onto Kaigo. That burns the grand challenge. We're seeing Calculated going in for the assistance. Looks like Kaigo tries to go in, tries to lock him down, and he will get ganked again by the 3 squad of NE.
Yeah, and I think we've seen this before, Vulcan. Just Kaigo getting 3-man collapsed on by Naga Esports, and I think that will net them this tower. I do think, though, that Mineski can trade it in the top lane, but man, like we mentioned, they need to get Iconic ahead on this VR so that it comes a point where Kaigo cannot 1v1 him. And they're working towards that win condition. I really like the moves that Naga are making at the moment.
And we're seeing the tabby completed by Kaigo. He has a Trinity Force, 2 long swords. This could be perhaps a Tiamat build right now for Kaigo.
I mean, the Tabi from Kaigo can only mitigate so much damage from a Fiora who deals max health damage. It's still going to be very difficult for him to actually 1v1 him.
Dodges the stun, forces out the flash from Need. That's a flash down. Rebenga catches the hook. Will they re-engage? No, they see Calculated. They're backing away, but the prison will not let them escape. There's the collapse in the river. Calculated takes down Gary. Next stop is TG.
Can they chase for more here? Look sure it does
Ooh,
have...
look
oh,
at
stopped it!
Calculated stops the recall, but June with the smite for the heal onto the Gromps.
That was so smart by Mineski's Junk to smite the Grump as he flew away so that he got the extra HP from the smite. But man, Naga is making all the aggressive moves in this mid game. We've constantly seen Neep use his flash to chain with the Dazzle from Tarek to catch the members of Mineski, and I think they've been caught off guard with the aggression that Naga is showing here.
This is actually a great start for Naga Esports. Kill score is 3-7. And the turret score is on to Mineski's favors for now. The next Drake is Infernal, spawning soon. We only have 54 seconds left till the next Drake.
Yeah, now Naga is going to reset, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them send their members towards that area, really set down the vision, and just be in the right position at the right time.
And we're seeing some itemization coming in. So at this point, for Kaigo to really go for those aggressive dives, the Trinity Force was rushed, but in the end, he could not get that much value because, I mean, look at the amount of pressure that now Esports is doing onto Kaigo.
Well, I mean, Kaigo could get the value from his Trinity Force, but he just hasn't had the opportunity to use it because he's always being three-man. He practically got camped in his lane. So we haven't seen the damage that Camille can do.
Yep, see it soon. But for
close.
TG and James in the mid lane, calculated, so nimble with his LeBlanc.
Oh, finally one lands.
One lands, but we're seeing three members of NE in the Riverside. Complete vision here. There's only one control ward by Mineski. Will be taken down.
Yeah, this is, like I mentioned, it is the Infernal Drake, and this will benefit Naga so much come late game, and it also adds another stack to their Elder Drake. Oh no, James!
Valkyrie is already there. It's the Dark Passage. The Lantern for the save. The Cosmic Radiance. Will it be enough? Will it come in time? No! Looks like Kaigo immediately bursts down calculated. That hope won't connect. Close call for Rebenga.
Yeah, questionable decision by
Infernal.
Calculated. They had complete control of the Infernal Drake area. All they had to do was take it, but he gets punished for his overaggression. I don't think he expected the Camille to be there. And even if you're a LeBlanc, regardless of how slippery that champion is, Camille's ultimate will lock you down, keep you in place. And with that error, Mineski are able to pick up the Infernal Drake for themselves. So Naga making a costly mistake there.
The Baron is live right now. We're seeing Mineski making their approach to get some vision control. But when it comes for NE, they did make small mistakes, but I just want to point out Rebenga. I gotta say, he's doing his absolute best. Look at that KP, 100%.
That's probably my favorite stat as a jungler, Vulcan. You always want to keep your KP high as a jungler. Yung tipong kapag ka naka-solo kill yung kakampi mo, sasabihan ko, ba't nyo sinira yung KP ko? So, definitely, Rebenga doing his job, like you mentioned. 100% kill participation still on the Sejuani.
He's the one really dictating how the lane is really being flowed. I mean, he's really, every time that there's trouble, he's there. And for Calculated, really not respecting the damage from this Corki. Oh god, Rebenga's over that wall. Locks the prison down to James. Very low in health. He does Valkyrie away. The box is there. Ooh, close call from the hook.
Yeah, Calculated needs
Luxuria.
to... Ooh, body block by Jun. But
Oh.
yeah, Calculated has not hesitated to dash in to land the damage that he has. He needs to be very careful when going for these moves, because if one of those hooks from TG lands, that's enough time for them to burst him down. He needs to at least show a little respect for the Thresh.
But we're seeing June trying his best to really go for those kills, for those dives, but it's really hard when you're talking about an Ezreal, a LeBlanc.
Very difficult for Zach, like you
very
mentioned.
difficult for a Zach.
I mean, actually, it's only Neep that doesn't have a dash on Naga Esports side, so everyone definitely has a tool to get away from the Elastic Slingshot.
The Herald has spawned in the bot lane just to buy some time. What will Mineski do with this Herald?
I don't think anything. It's just gonna waste a bit of Iconic's time here. Gonna delay a bit of the shove in the bot lane.
But we're seeing three members in the mid lane.
Everyone's hovering towards this mid lane area, really trying to fight for priority, trying to get the push on the minions in the mid lane so that they can set up vision for the Baron.
What's this?
Okay, it looks like Rebenga will just be scared out. He is tanky enough to just eat all the damage from Corki and then just immediately back off. He
Oh.
already has Warmog's armor completed, so he'll be topped off. He'll be fine.
Kaigo just waiting on the bot lane side. So I think at this point, yes, you did say that now they need to survive the early game aggression. I think they survived, and now at this point they have a control over Mineski.
Yeah, this mid game, I think it will come down to whoever can play the macro more efficiently, more proficiently. That's a proper word right there. I'm running out of adjectives. But yeah, looking at mid lane, it's a fight for mid priority where basically both teams will try and shove this minion wave. Both teams will definitely be trying to shove this in, because whoever shoves in means that they control the Baron area. It'll be very difficult to lay down vision unless your mid lane is pushed in.
Look at Jun and TG waiting in the brush side. they really can't do anything when it comes to LeBlanc, so they can't really pinpoint calculate it down. They need the help from Kaigu, but looking at Iconic, he's really busy in the bot lane, pressuring it down.
Okay, yeah, like we mentioned, it's very difficult for Zach to actually land his elastic slingshot onto the members.
Walking into Rebenga. 3 members in the Riverside. Prison connects onto TG. Only on the TG, but Luxury gets gained on by Jun. There is the delivery. There is the kill by TG. Takes down Rebenga. Iconic coming in. He does pop the cell division. Does Kaigo have teleport? No. This will be a dead jungler. James coming in for the help. We're seeing Kaigo responding in. He has the ultimate, trying to go for the tactical sweep. Gets the slow. James for the poke. Will they go for an engage here?
Yeah, I think at that point they will just disengage, and Naga is very lucky that Mineski weren't able to get any more follow-up into that, because I think Neep's ultimate only landed on himself. So that means that they didn't have the safety that Cosmic Radiance provides. If Mineski were able to catch any more of their members, that could have been disastrous for Naga.
Kill score right now is 5-8, but calculated. Really focusing on the Gary. He does dodge that tether, so he will survive. And look at the damage that Gary's bringing in, because looking at his items, we're seeing the Wits and the Rage Blade. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, and possibly Blade of the Ruined King afterwards, or if he wants to go the path, he could go Runon's Hurricane. Who knows? But yeah, like you mentioned, this Varus has...
This Varus is gonna be the key for Mineski to win this game.
Yeah, he's been farming very efficiently, already a 30 CS lead over the Ezreal.
Same as for James when it comes to CS.
Yeah, and let's face it, the Varus is always going to have more DPS compared to the Ezreal. Ezreal is more of that poke-based champion, and having the Iceborne Gauntlet, just more utility for the rest of Naga to catch up to their members.
Look at that. I mean, 25 minutes into the game, we're seeing a lot of standoff here. And I think for both teams, they're going in for the late game run. We're seeing the Korki. So Mineski, they have no trouble transitioning to the late game. Same as for NE. Really comes down to execution.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason why this mid game is going very passively is because both teams are very disciplined. Nobody wants to go for that incredibly risky engage that could cost them Baron at this stage. So they're really just fighting for vision, fighting for mid lane priority, because look at this. The moment that Mineski shoves in the mid lane of Naga, it allows them to invade into the red side jungle, which means they get to see everyone that will face check towards this Baron. What? We're gonna see a 1v1 duel in the bot lane. Iconic? Do it, man. Come on. Show us what you're made of. Oh.
Here comes the Valkyrie going in for an engage. Chain of Corruption does not connect. Rebenga's here for the safeguard.
Yeah, that's very risky for calculated. He is chunked low here. Needs to be very careful.
They're all clumped up. This is dangerous. What's happening here? Iconic going in for the flag. The box has been laid. Teleport coming in. Will Kaigo come in time? There is Jun with the play. Delivering to members. Separates Sejuani. Rebenga is alone. He's very low. And
Now
that's going to be
off.
the snipe. Gary takes down the kill. Who's next? Who else? Calculated gets tucked down by Kaigo. This will be a slaughter in the river.
Yeah, just like that, Mineski cleaned up 4 members. It's only the Ezreal alive. You need to get out of there, Luxurian. I think Mineski are going to ignore the Dragon here and just go for the Baron. They do have the means to take that objective. Whoa, look at...
Flash in, and that might be the ace of the game.
Okay, that is an ace for Mineski. That means nobody can challenge this Baron. And just like that, Mineski, they pull the trigger, turn the fight on its head. They are rewarded with this big purple worm.
Purple worm going straight for Mineski. This will be uncontested because it's an ace, and that play itself on the riverside, that caught me by surprise, because we saw Jun setting things up, separating the members of NE, just setting it everything for what? Gary.
Yeah, I think this fight, Mineski played very well. Naga was going over aggressive here because it's very risky to team fight unless LeBlanc can make it a 4v5 before the fight starts. But right here, he kidnaps the front line, and Mineski focus all their damage onto the front line. They get super low before the Cosmic Radiance comes out, and the moment this times out, that is the green light for Mineski to re-engage. No more safety, no more protection. Kaigu isn't afraid to go on here, and unfortunately, there's still not enough damage coming from Luxuria here to actually damage the members of Mineski, and they just wipe out Naga.
And Jun for another re-engage with a slingshot for a 2-man knockup. That was well played by Mineski, and the fact that when it comes to burning the Cosmic Radiance, this will be the condition, one of the conditions for Mineski.
Yeah, that's one of the key ultimates that Naga really needs to win the team fights. You can team fight with a LeBlanc and an Ezreal. It's gonna be, you can, but it can be very difficult because one thing that Calculate has to do is make it a 4v5 by picking off one of the members with the burst damage that LeBlanc provides. But if it goes on to a full-on 5v5, LeBlanc can easily be locked down, and she practically becomes a non-factor if it's a 5v5 fight.
Oh, what's this? Calculated. Is really waiting on the sides, going for
Do
the
you see it
flank.
though?
June predicts this, he sees it, goes for the zone. Rebecca goes in, but Hamas immediately cleanses away. Mineski hiding away from the Radiant. Only 2 members was touched by the Radiant, so Rebecca will fall
What about
back.
Gary?
This leaves the members. Gary does get chunked by Calculated, but who else remains? Hamas is here to clean things up, but Kaigu goes over that wall and locks down Luxuria.
Yeah, it's only Calculate left alive, and even though Naga Esports were able to focus everything onto the Varus, you still have to respect the damage coming out of Hamas' Corki, and now I think they're just gonna stop the back from Rebenga. Mineski are pushing forward here.
They're really buying time. Calculated cannot escape the grasp.
Or can he?
He's just buying time here because what Mineski is doing right now is just buying time so that when it comes to the push, I think they'll try and take down the inhibitor.
Can they go for the game here?
Look at June. He's really not letting Calculated go. An endless push.
Wait, disappeared.
Ah, he was sensing something. So the distortion play won't happen. How long will this go though? I wonder. Jun kiting away from the tether, still gets tethered
I want
down.
it to go on forever, Vulcan. Okay, Jun has had enough. He doesn't want to continue the pursuit of the LeBlanc, but
He did what he was supposed to do. Delay the recall. That's all that matters for him. But in the next rig is Elder Drake.
yeah, that means that Naga did lose their mid lane inhibitor. But let's go ahead in this fight. Naga, I think they tunneled vision onto the Varus here, but unfortunately, it took them forever to take down Gary. And it's only the Varus who took down. You still have to respect the damage coming from this Corki. Look at Hamas. He's practically untouched throughout the entirety of this fight. And if you let the Corki just rip through your team, there's no more getting out. The moment that Iconic dies here, there's no way that Naga wins the fight. Kaigu with the lockdown, Hextech ultimatum, just no escape.
And that rewards them the inhibitor and the inhibitor turret. So with the turret score right now 6-3, gold lead is in favor of Naga Esports just by, yes, 9,000. Yeah, not even 10,000 gold lead just yet. And it's the fact that for Mineski, they were able to secure the first Baron.
Yeah, and also I think one of the factors here in this game, di ba sinabi natin Naga has to survive the early game onslaught that Mineski has. They also needed to survive the mid-game power spike that the champions of Mineski have, especially with the Corki and the Camille having the Trinity Force, all these huge damage options in the mid-game. I think Naga were a bit impatient in going for these fights because they weren't at that point yet where they could actually combat the members of Mineski. Now, they're pushing in this top lane.
Man, look at Kaigo is pushing in the other lanes, just pressuring. This is the amount of pressure that Mineski is exerting onto NE. Can they try and fight back?
They can try, but it's definitely going to be an uphill battle, Vulcan, because they're faced with a choice here. The moment that the minion waves hit the tower, if Hamas and Gary are able to click the tower, that thing will go down extremely quickly. And the only way that Naga can force them away is if they go for an engage. But if they do go for an engage, Mineski will just kite back.
Watch out for Rebenga. He's really trying to aim his prison onto Gary.
I think we're going to see the fight here. They're going to try to stop the bleeding.
Here comes the collapse. Box has been placed. Gradients will come into play. Mineski will try and zone out Calculated. James takes him down. And Jude survives. All of members of NE were focused to Jude. But he does have the cell division. He's back out. And the members of Mineski are collapsing onto the base of Naga Esports. Just a lockdown from Kaigo. He takes down. That's a chunk.
Yeah, and with 3 kills onto the primary carries of Naga Esports, I think Mineski will go for the end of the game here. Masterfully played just right at the end. They will knock down the Nexus towers, followed by the Nexus very, very soon, Vulcan. And I think this will be game 1 going over to Mineski.
GG will play for both teams, and congratulations to Mineski for securing game 1.
Yeah, that was just a great mid-game by MSK. Even though Naga survived the early game, I think MSK's champions, their draft was just immensely stronger once they hit their power spikes, especially the Trinity Forces on these champions. And they really abused the fact that they were stronger in the mid-game to just out-teamfight the members of Naga.
And because of those spikes, I think for MSK, they have better control when it comes to the Barret. And also, the fact that, as you said, Naga Esports, they're a bit too ambitious going in for dives against MSK.
Yeah, but let's see, maybe Naga can adjust for game 2. Maybe they can force this into another third game for today. But credits to MSK as well for understanding where their champions were stronger and abusing them while they were stronger.
Who knows? We might see another mini reverse sweep after the short break. We'll continue for game 2. We have been the Shoutcasters. My name is Vulcan. With me was Chisto. See you after the short break for the continuation of our match 2. MSK versus Naga Esports. This is dangerous. What's happening here? I can't go in for the flank. The box has been laid. Teleport coming in. Will Kaigo come in time? There is June with the play. Delivering to members. Separates Sejuani. Rebenga is alone. He's very low. And
Now
that's going to be
off.
the snipe. Gary takes down the kill. Who's next? Who else? Calculated gets chunked down by Kaigo. This will be a slaughter in the river. Rebenga goes in, but Hamas immediately cleanses away. MSK hiding away from the Radiant. Only 2 members was touched by the Radiant, so Rebenga will fall back.
Gary.
This leaves the members. Gary does get chunked by Calculated, but who else remains? Hamas is here to clean things up, but Kaigo goes over that wall and locks down Luxuria. Prison onto Gary.
I think we're going to see the fight here. They're trying to stop the bleeding.
Here comes the collapse. Box has been placed. Gradients will come into play. MSK will try and zone out Calculated. James takes him down. And Jude survives all of members of enemy. We're focused to Jude. But he does have the cell division. He's back out. And the members of MSK are collapsing onto the base of Naga Esports. Just to lock down from Kaigo. He takes down. That's a chop.
Yeah, and with 3 kills onto the primary carries of Naga Esports, I think MSK will go for the end of the game here. Masterfully played just right at the end. They will knock down the Nexus towers, followed by the Nexus very, very soon, Vulcan. And I think this will be game 1 going over to MSK.
GG will play for both teams, and congratulations to MSK for securing game 1.
Yeah, that was just a great mid-game by MSK.